Next, I'll show you how to do bulk changes of objects in programs, then verify those changes through the table view. This is more than just table views. I'm going to use table views to verify what we've done. One of the things that I wish KMC had in their VAV controllers is code in that written to drive a box to full volume. Unfortunately, they don't have that. So I've made some objects and some programming for that, and I'm going to drag those into the network here. Now you really got to be careful how you do this, but okay, so I've got balance max volume object over here, so I'm going to drag that over onto the network. And you really got to be careful here when you're doing stuff to a network. And if you're new to this, you may want to right click and deselect all and then go select the ones you want. My recommendation is when you set up networks to have things like air handling units and boiler systems and that all at the beginning or the end of the network. So it makes this a lot easier to deselect the controllers you don't want to send this to. But okay, so here we go. We're going to send this to all of these controllers. And so I've got that. And I'm going to send everything to it, except for the priority array. Okay, so I've sent that. As for driving the box to full volume, sometimes the balancer wants you to also drive the valves open. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put an object in there for that. I'm going to drag that to the network, deselect the controllers that I don't want, or unselect everything and select the controllers I do want. Now let's send everything on there. Okay, then we've got the program that actually controls all this. I'm going to drag that over onto the network, verifying the controllers I want to send it to. Oops. Yes, I want to run this. Okay. Now make sure that when you're dragging to a network of controllers that you haven't already used that program spot 7 in any of those controllers, maybe to control something like an exhaust fan or whatever. Because if you had programming 7 on any of these controllers, it would now be wiped out. Okay, now one other thing. Let's say you can do within the same controller. Let's say I want to make a slight change in one of these programs. And let's just say it happens to be the one that I just wrote. Okay, so maybe I've removed all the fan controls so I can use those outputs. Let's just pretend I did. Now, one of the little things I would do then is possibly just put in here V2 on the description, or maybe a date or something like that. I'll show you why you want to do that here in a minute. So I'm going to save the changes. So I've saved the changes of that, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to drag it up to the network. And notice how it only selects 2 of the controllers instead of 3. Well, I've already changed it in one controller, so there's no reason to send it to the controller it's coming from. Oh, and by the way, I was holding the Alt key down to be able to drag that. It won't allow you to just drag it, you have to hold the Alt key. So hit OK. Okay, I'm going to save everything there, the defaults. Run the program, sure. Okay, now it's saved it all. I'm going to close this window. One of the things that KMC has corrected in future, in more recent releases, was the fact that it would sometimes not always send it to a certain controller. Maybe it would just quit if maybe it sent it to 10 of 20 controllers and then it couldn't do something, so it said, screw it, I give up. Or it would leave the controllers in idle mode instead of running, and you wouldn't know. I mean, some of that information you could figure out what was going on through this output window, but it could take a lot of deciphering to go through this, find out what worked and what didn't work and where it left off. So I'm going to right click excuse me. So I'm not going to do that with look at it through the output window. I'm going to use table views to verify that everything I did worked properly. So I'm going to open a table. And first things first, we added a BV15 and a BV18. Let's just make sure that those got in there. So I'm going to go edit file path. I'm going to go in here, add network manager, BACnet. Now, don't use the actual name because I'm going to only list the controllers that it successfully went into. Use the mnemonic. So I'm going to do BV15, and if it comes up with a suggestion, don't take it. So I'm hitting X, okay, okay. Alright, what the hell happened there? Oops, I picked the wrong, I didn't go far enough. Sorry guys. Let's go back. Okay, so we're going to select a controller, sorry, and BV15. Okay. You can see how it gives you the suggestion of the name. We're not going to select that. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, so I see. So it's got, for some reason, it's got visible properties. So maybe I want present value in there. I'm not sure why it's just showing that stuff. All I'm doing this for is to verify that those objects got in there. You could set up what properties you want to see in here after the fact. Maybe relinquish default. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to change this to a star. Okay, now I know it got into all three of those controllers because it came up here. Now, if for some reason it didn't go into one of the controllers, you would see BV15 or whatever name that object used to be instead of this name right here. So that's the reason by using just the mnemonic and not the address. Okay, so let's try another one here. So I've done that. And I want to do the program, so I've done, I'm just going to do the program that I changed the name on. So let's, but just be aware it could be the other program too. So I'm going to go to find the object, network manager, and what program was that? That was, I made changes to the fan damper program. I'm going to go BACnet, and I'm going to go into here, and that was program 2. Program 2. Okay, I'm going to select that. Okay. View, visible properties. Now, what I want to do is clear all. I want to use the description because that's where we put the change in there, and I want to also know the program state. Okay, so I notice how that said halted, and I'm going to go visible properties, or excuse me, I'm going to go up here to path. I'm going to change this. I'm going to put our alias in there. So okay, so this automatically tells me that something got messed up. So this actually worked. Oops. So now I got to go figure out why that one halted and the other two are running. Well, if I had just done a copy, it wouldn't have worked. Now maybe one of the controllers that it didn't actually go into at all. No, that was the reason for changing the description. Notice how it's got V2 in all of them. If I had one that didn't have the V2 in it, Well, that would mean that somehow that never got to that controller.